So word on the street is that you're wanting to become a photographer. Well, let me tell you about my top 5 things I wish I would have known before getting into this crazy world that's called photography. Number 1 on the list is camera bodies. But wait, why a camera body? You're gonna need one of these for photography, right? Well, you see, when I first started out in photography, I made the common mistake of purchasing multiple bodies and basically upgrading them. When in reality, upgrading a camera body isn't really that important. Yes, it's gonna give you brand new features and tools that you can use, but having an expensive camera is not gonna get you better results. Instead, I should have been investing in this. So this right here is an L series lens, which I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a pretty hefty price. This is about maybe $3,000-ish after tax, but this right here is what gives you those high quality, sharp results. You see, what ends up happening most of the time is whenever you buy your first camera, you're more than likely gonna buy it as a kit. Now, yeah, it sounds super great and helpful because you get the camera, you get the lens, but the lens that they throw into that kit is not good at all. I mean, it's complete trash. So what I recommend is to always buy the body separately and use the rest of your money to buy really high quality glass. Now look, I know what you're thinking, Marco, I don't have $3,000 extra dollars to throw on a lens like the one you're holding. I get it. Lenses and cameras alone are already expensive as is. However, you can end up getting a traditional nifty 50 lens, and those run about $200, and it's gonna be a lot better than that kit lens. So yeah, I wasted a lot of money and time buying multiple bodies when I shouldn't have done that. I was using kit lenses the entire time. Not my proudest moment. Don't make the same mistake as me. Number 2 on the list is always shooting with the lowest aperture. Now you might be thinking, Marco, why is this a problem? I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on all of my lenses, and I also want the nice blurry backgrounds for my portraits. Look, I completely agree, blurry backgrounds look beautiful when it comes to portraits. However, you don't always need to shoot at the lowest aperture. Let me tell you why. Number 1 is whenever you're shooting at the lowest aperture, you actually have a higher chance of missing focus. The reason for that is because your plane of focus is razor thin. I kind of like to think of it as this straight line, and once you start using the higher apertures like f4, f8, that line begins to expand, so more things are going to be in focus. Now, a good example of this is whenever you're shooting group photos. So if you have people that are maybe standing in the back and you got some people kind of in the front, well, if you shoot at the lowest aperture possible, your people up front are more than likely gonna be in focus, but the people in back, they're not gonna be in focus, they're gonna be a little bit blurry, and I guarantee you that client is not gonna be happy with those results. Oh, and speaking of sharpness, number 2 is the fact that every lens has a sweet spot where it's actually at its sharpest. And it's not always going to be the lowest aperture, I can guarantee you that. In fact, here is a few images that I've taken with the nifty 50, and that lens goes all the way down to 1.8, but these were actually shot at f2.8, and look at how nice and sharp they are, and also I still get that really good blurry background that we were talking about. And last but not least, if you're always shooting wide open at the lowest aperture, what is even the point of our location that we're at? You can't even really tell what's going on in the background. Oh, and I just want to say, I'm not trying to sway you from using the lowest aperture on your lens. I'm just trying to encourage you every now and then to go ahead and bump up that aperture. It's not that scary, trust me. And you might actually be happy with the results. And next on the list is clarity. Now look, this is a common editing mistake that a lot of beginner photographers make, including myself. We tend to go into Lightroom and bump that clarity slider all the way to the right, and this is kind of what we end up with. Now, as a beginner photographer, yeah, it looks freaking awesome, but in reality, it looks like crap. But you know what? Actually, that clarity slider is a Canon event, so maybe go and slide that to 100%. So this next one on the list is one of my top secrets on how to get the best quality images possible. And that secret is, it's actually lighting. So a few different things that you're gonna have to learn is how to position your light. For example, are you going to place the light source behind your subject? If so, you're gonna get this really nice backlit look, kind of like how you're seeing this rim of light at the top of my hair. It's because I have a light behind me. Or are you maybe gonna have the light source directly in front of your subject, where it's gonna give you more of a flat look? Or is your light source going to be to the side of your subject, so one side of your face is lit up and the other one is dark to create some contrast and add a little bit of drama? Another thing you'll have to learn is how to shape your light, and you can do that by adding diffusers to your lights that you're using in a studio. That will actually eliminate harsh shadows and spread out the light more evenly. Or if you're working outdoors and you're not using artificial lights, then you're gonna want to rely on your clouds to be your diffuser. Now, if there's no clouds, then it gets a little bit trickier. That's when you start looking for shaded areas that'll provide you that nice, even lighting on your subject. And now the last tip that I have for you. You won't believe what it is. It's to just get out there and practice. Look, you can watch as many YouTube videos as humanly possible, but the only way that you're ever going to get better is just by going out there and simply doing it. Oh, but before you go, if you want to learn how to edit like a pro in Lightroom, make sure to watch this video right here.